From the After 9 podcast studios, this is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Happy motherfucking Friday.
Well, that sounds formal.
That was a little formal, wasn't it?
Yes.
I'm all business today. Dave Blezard is in. Scott is currently getting his foot rebroken and then attached back on. Basically.
While we speak. Scott is under the knife.
Can you give people the update? Because I'm sure they're curious how this is going currently as we record this podcast. He not only did Scott make it to the hospital, which I'm very proud of, but he is actually going forward with the surgery.
And he's behaving, which is we weren't sure it was going to happen. So Scott is, he's admitted that he's got a problem with needles. Not a big fan.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, yay, a needle.
Yeah, nobody's excited about it.
But he kind of gets in his own head about it a little bit. And he also just doesn't do well with the nerves when he gets into those situations. So this is the text that I got. Just wanted to let you know that Scott made it into surgery. He did not pull out any IVs. Although he was tempted to.
I bet you he was.
I bet you he thought about it. Yeah. But I'm glad he didn't. Good for him. He showed some restraint.
He hates needles so much that he didn't want to be put under, right? In any way, shape, or form. And then, I knew this, and only because I have people in the medical field in my family. But he goes, my doctor told me I shouldn't see what he's going to do. I'm like, yeah. And smell the smells.
You don't want to watch it.
I'm like, no. So then he's like, you definitely have to be put under. I'm like, you shouldn't want to be awake during a surgery like that. They literally get up on the table. When you're getting your shoulder, apparently shoulder day is the worst. The worst ever.
Oh, yeah?
Because for physical, how do I put this? The doctors literally get on the table. Like, I don't think people realize that because they watch shows like Grey's Anatomy and shit, and they think they know how surgery goes all the time.
Oh, no.
When it comes to getting your hips done, getting any joints replaced, doing surgeries like this on your foot, they literally at a certain point have to tug and pull at stuff to pop it off you.
Yep.
And there's saws, there's noises, there's skin. Sorry if I'm grossing people out, but there's the skin burning smell. You know that smell of skin burning? Mm-hmm. You smell those smells, you hear those things. Trust me, you don't, if you have the option not to, because in some cases you don't have an option depending on what your surgery is, don't.
Imagine waking up in the middle of a surgery and just being like, what's cooking?
What is that?
Oh my God, it's
me. It's gross, man. Yeah. Like I've been there. I've been there. Yes.
Wait, what do you mean you've been there? Have you woken up?
No, I was awake for 2 C-sections.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So when they actually go through, sorry if this segment's gross for people, but they actually have to go through like 9 layers of you to get a baby out.
Yeah.
So in order to put everything back together again, like Humpty Dumpty, in some cases they have to actually
move
things, fry things. It's not pleasant. Like none of it is pleasant. So again, if you have the option to not be awake, don't.
I can speak to that. Sitting in the delivery room and watching them pull out like a jack for a car and like other things that they had to do like on the table. Like honestly, like ours was a little bit traumatic and we had a kind of a tumultuous birth.
We had an emergency. I know that yours was really bad.
Crazy emergency. Yeah. So everything worked out obviously, but it got scurry there for a second where it could have been pretty bad. But you don't prepare yourself for what they're going to do to get there. So doctors jumped up on the table, 2 of them on the table, like on the table with my wife. And I was like, is this a normal thing? I don't know what's going on. And it's like the pushing and she's getting jarred. My wife is getting jarred during all of this. And I'm like, this is nuts.
I know. And you don't realize how aggressive it is, but when you're awake, you see it all.
Well, and it's the recovery time is the thing. Because you're like, oh, well, people have babies all the time and they're up and walking the next couple of days. And it's like, well, no.
Everyone's situation is so different.
Yeah.
Even with the recovery of what Scott's going through, I'm sure everyone's recovery is so different.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are and stuff. So Scott, he was so positive, good for him in thinking that, he'll be back on his feet in like a day.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you need your body to rest after you go through that kind of thing too. Any kind of surgery, I'm sure it's exhausting.
What do you think he's going to do with the placenta?
Oh, yeah, good question, actually. I'm not sure. Bottle feed or breastfeed, lots of different questions.
Yeah, what's it going to be? Yeah. Formula, what are you doing?
Okay, let's get to, a couple of things. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a few things happening right now, so we want to talk about them. Number 1, Taylor Swift, night 1. Did you hear any specifics on the show last night?
Not really specifics other than just there was a few songs that people don't know that she's going to play. Like I guess she plays a couple of surprises throughout the show. So there was a lot of comments about the shock of which songs she played. Really, everything I saw was just people being blown away. Just like, whoa, the scope of it. Yeah. It's so big. It's so big.
She plays for 3 hours. Like that alone is impressive. I've been to concerts before where I've been so let down because I go there and I wait for the artist too. Isn't that the worst when you're like, they're going to go on at 9? It's like 10:30 and you're like, come on. And then they get on the stage and then they're there for like a half hour.
Yeah.
You're like, what, like, really?
I was at Bonnaroo one year and Kanye was doing the Glow in the Dark tour at the time. And I'd seen him a few times already, and he was one of my favorite artists to see live. Like, he put on a heck of a show, and now it's a little different with Kanye. And
yeah.
Anyhow, so going back to the better days of Kanye.
Yes.
So
there were better days.
There were much better days. So this year was nuts that Kanye performed there. That I think Tiesto played in like a tent.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was there, and it was like, this is crazy. Like 100 people in this like wedding tent, and there's Tiesto playing.
Tiesto's a great one to see live if you see any DJ, by the way.
Yeah, well, and by the way, it wasn't like a crazy setup or anything. It was just him
doing
playing in the
it.
tent. Yeah. And then so Willie Nelson was there, the Raconteurs, BB King, Metallica, Pearl Jam, Jack Johnson. Man, there were so many bands, so many artists. Chris Rock did an hour of stand-up before Metallica.
That is so. I love those kinds of shows though,
Crazy.
because you get like a variety of people in one spot. That's what makes it worth it for me.
Kid Cudi was on that year, I think, and then so
gosh.
Kanye was scheduled to do the midnight show, and because it's all glow in the dark and everything.
Yeah.
I guess so. This was in Manchester, Tennessee. So fly into Nashville and drive out from there. Something happened. Yeah, he was in Chicago. I don't think he had a show in Chicago. Something happened with the flight. Couldn't get there in time for midnight. Ended up going on at 5 a.m. and the sun was already like starting to come up. So all the glow in the dark stuff didn't work.
Oh my gosh.
It was nothing. And he must have just been so pissed because he got on the mic, sang his songs, no crowd interaction whatsoever, didn't say anything to anybody, like was just did his songs and walked off the stage when he was done. It was like 45 minutes.
Did I tell you I attempted to go to a club Steve Aoki was playing at? Hakkasan?
Okay. No, he
in Vegas. We happened to be up late enough because this was my issue. It was like, I'm not going to any clubs in Vegas. First of all, I feel like I'm too old for that, not interested. But we happened to be at the hotel that it's at, and it was right there. And they were like, free cover, guys, free cover before whatever time it was. It was like before midnight, it's free cover. And I'm thinking like, free cover to see Steve Aoki.
I hate that phrase so much.
Free cover?
Because it's not a real thing.
It's
That's
not.
like saying free tax.
I know, it's stupid. It's stupid.
It's no cover. But it's not free cover. It's no cover.
We get in line and we go in to Hakkasan, which I've never, again, this is my first experience with it.
What's it called?
It's in Hakkasan.
Hakkasan, okay. I don't know it.
It's in the basement of this hotel, but it's massive.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's almost like a hidden gem. And I understand the allure of like, okay, but I will tell you, like, so we got escorted down an elevator, and it's just the four of us that went to Vegas that are there. And I don't know, right away I was like, I'm not feeling this whole vibe of like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it to begin with. I wasn't ready to go to a club that night. Like, I wasn't feeling it. But I was like, oh, it's Steve Aoki. He's got to be hitting the stage soon. This was just before midnight. And I was actually awake because with the time change, by the way, that's like 3 a.m. our time.
Yes.
Right? So I was like, I can't believe I'm awake. We're going to do this. We're sitting there, standing. Obviously, there's just like standing in a random spot because there's no good spots to stand by the time we got there. Waiting. And finally, this DJ that was on stopped. We're like, Steve Aoki time. This is going to be great. Waited. Some other DJ came. So I finally asked someone, I'm like, do you come here often? Like, what time is Steve Aoki coming on? They're like, oh, probably like 1:30, sometimes 2. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out.
Wow.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. So I attempted it anyway.
So that exact same thing happened to me when I went to Vegas a couple of years ago. Exact same situation. Loud Luxury was playing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'll pop in, say hi and all that. But it was like, they're not going on until 2 or 1 or whatever it was. And I'm like, yeah, no.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
The best bet for us.
I don't see them at home.
That's the thing. The best bet, and I've seen them multiple times.
But we know them. Right? So it's like
we could literally be like, hey.
Pop in and say hello. But I was like, it felt like way too much hassle. Like
I'm more likely to go to sleep early.
Yeah.
And wake up and go to the club. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I would consider that. Like, if you told me you could see someone you liked, whatever. Let's say it was Marshmello and I was interested in seeing Marshmello at a club. I would probably be more likely now, knowing what I know, to fall asleep early, wake up, and I'd be wide awake, kind of like the time I wake up here anyway.
Yeah.
And then march on down to the club and be like, I just woke up. Like, here I am.
Do you imagine doing that? Like,
but I think that's the smartest way to do it when you're older anyway, when you're older.
Well, is that why you like Vegas? Because you have the early morning, or not early morning, so the like the day pools and like pool parties and things like that, like day clubs?
Not really. I don't do any of the clubs. I did this time around, I did a lot of restaurants and a lot of speakeasies.
How many speakeasies are there? Are there a lot?
Lots, tons. Like almost every hotel has multiple.
Well, do they tell anybody about them?
Well, you find out. You can go down the TikTok rabbit hole, like because you have to know certain things. Sometimes you have to reserve it. So I went to the coolest one ever. It was inside. It was inside a bar. It was a bar inside a bar. It's
hilarious to me.
It's called the Lock, and it's inside the Cabinet of Curiosities. So it's a cool bar called the Cabinet of Curiosities. I think we all know what that means. Like, if you envision that, there's like weird trinkets on the shelf. And
I think my mom had a drawer like that, and I wasn't allowed to go into it.
That's what it was. It was basically like going inside your mom's drawer. So strange.
But that's what it was called.
And there's people making drinks. There's people inside your mom's drawer. People making drinks. But then there's a phone at the back, right? So they always have something fun usually for the speakeasies.
Yeah.
So we had to pick up the phone and tell the code word. Someone came out of this vault, but once we got into the vault, it was like an escape room. So it was like a twofer. So then you had to find your way into the bar. So it was very neat. Anyway, so I like stuff like that. That's what I'm there for. And people watching. Those are my two favorite things.
I think I kind of like the idea, although I feel like I would get annoyed when they turn it into an escape room. And I'm like, oh, no.
It was easy. I promise you, this one was...
imagine they make you like, oh, if you want a drink, you're going to have to find this key that's buried in a book somewhere.
Good luck.
3,000 books. Have a fun time.
You're not hungry.
You're like, I'm thirsty. I just want my beverage, please.
But everything there is so expensive.
It's
true. Crazy.
It's not... Oh, by the way, I was talking to a buddy about Vegas recently, and he said that it's changed so much that there's very few people walking around casinos giving drinks. Like, it's like one server.
Yes, that is true.
Because it used to be a thing where you'd sit and gamble, play at a machine or whatever, and the servers would come around and bring you drinks.
We found one that did. Do you want to know where we found it? Have you heard of Binions?
What is it?
Binions.
Binions?
Binions is a little shit casino in old downtown.
Okay.
But they are the only place where the server came right up to us without us even inserting any money into a machine because they were bored, I guess.
Yeah.
No one's there. It's called Binions, okay? It's very old. Like, I'm not kidding you. When you picture Binions, you're probably picturing it correct.
Is Binions like a name?
Look up Binions.
I don't know what, like,
Look
why is it called Binions? That's the worst name. I hate that name so much.
I hate it too. But
Binions?
Well, we were dying. Like,
here we
that's
go.
why we went in. Look up Binions.
Okay, yeah, I got it here.
Old slot machines. Like, it's not like these new shiny machines. It's all old machines, Keno games, shit like that.
Put it this way. It's so old that they call it Binions Gambling Hall. That's how old it is.
But it's right old downtown. Like, they refuse to change, right? Because then you got Circa across the street.
Okay.
Circa's beautiful. It was just redone recently.
Well, hang on. I'm gonna put over Binions Gambling Hall for a second here. Because I go to the top of the page and they've got Hotel Apache, they've got gaming, they got dining and drinks, they've got banquets and catering, entertainment, Q&A, all kinds of stuff. And then when you go down to like their sub menu, here's some of the things that they offer at the Binions Gambling Hall. A haunted encounter, tarot readings, Benny Binion's VIP experience. I don't know who Benny Binion is. That's my problem. And then like halfway down the page, then it's standard room, standard bathroom. Standard bathroom? Is there something special about the bathrooms that I need to know?
You know what they have in the bathrooms? They're so old. They have cup holders in the bathroom, which kind of grossed me out.
Cup holders? Imagine they had the ashtray. Like the little metal ashtray. I stayed at a hotel in Niagara once not that long ago and it had one in the counter and I was like, I'm in the wrong hotel.
So the thing I liked about it though was like, I thought, okay, because if you want to be safe with your drink, that makes sense. The only thing is though, nobody's there. But to the point of the servers, that was the only place that we went to and right away someone came up to all four of us. Can I get you guys something to drink? So my brother, because he's ridiculous, was like, 4 doubles of rye and diet.
Of course, yeah.
Just to test the system. She's like, can I just do singles? And he's like, of course, if it's free, we're gambling. She goes, of course. She was the only one. Honestly, though, Dave, you had to be actively spending money. There was less of them. And you know what they have now up against the bar? You know those bar machines you can play?
Yeah.
So they've got those bar machines, and usually it's just like you're at the bar machine, you're playing, they give you a drink.
Sure.
Now they have green lights that tell you how much money or how long you've been playing. And when the green light goes, that's when you can get your drink.
Oh,
so you have to be playing for either 20 minutes or let's say $20 before you get your drink.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
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 Well,
So it has changed. To your friend's point,
do you want to know a little bit about Binions here?
Yeah, I do want to know more about Binions.
So at Binions, the Benny Binions VIP experience, the Hotel Apache was originally opened in 1932. The family came to Las Vegas. That opened it. The Silvagni, I'm probably saying that very wrong. Anyway, it was a cement contractor for the Hoover Dam project and realized that the workers needed a place to get away from their work and the heat of the desert. So it was the first in Las Vegas to air condition its hotel lobby and have air curtains at the entrance to the hotel. It's so old. It's the first place that had air conditioning. This is unbelievable.
I told you.
Holy shit.
I told you. This is like Elvis time.
So the hotel, Elvis time. You're
swear
talking
to
about like
God.
that was BC.
It was a long. It was like the 50s, Dave. That's a long time ago.
I guess it's almost.
It's like 75 years ago.
So Hollywood stars like Clark Gable, Humphrey Bogart, and Lucille Ball stayed there.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no like Ray Romano, no modern. Sydney Sweeney has stayed at the Hotel Apache.
Nope.
Like, Timothy Chalamet is at Binions Gambling Hall this Sunday. Over the course of the 90 years, the hotel has had many reports of spirited guests in residence who make it clear that the hotel and gambling hall still belongs to them. Several employees have been touched, nudged, report sightings of figures, and ghost hunters have reported high levels on their EMF meters and motion sensors, along with mediums seeing actual images of past owners' family members. And then at the bottom of this, it says, book your next stay at the historic Haunted Hotel Apache and let us know what you experience.
They have
just laid it out, and I'm like, you just sold me on staying at Planet Hollywood. Thank you very much.
Yeah, honestly, I had no idea Binions had a VIP thing too.
Well,
that's so funny. But I'm telling you, it was the only place that wasn't being like, I don't want to call it cheap, but Vegas is known for being that place that like serves you, but they are not.
And now I'm kind of interested in this. Now you got me down the rabbit hole. So do you want to know what the VIP experience is? And sorry to anyone who's like, who gives a shit about Benny Binion? But let's go through this real quick. You arrive in style with airport transportation to Benny's in a 1962 Cadillac limousine. At check-in, you will receive a ghost hunting kit so you can locate our permanent guests. Stay the night in the penthouse of the 1930s.
Oh, I'd love to see that penthouse.
Well, here, listen to this. Stay the night in the penthouse of the 1930s. Room 400 is the only room on the 4th floor. This room is known to be the most haunted room on the property. Located right outside of the old count room, known for supernatural activity, room 400 has vintage-style furnishings reminiscent of the original Hotel Apache that opened in 1932. The room includes a vintage clock radio with Bluetooth capabilities.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because that's what they had in the 1930s.
Right.
Very authentic. A period-inspired rotary dial telephone and easy access USB ports to charge your phone. I love how they're like, it's the 1930s with the modern technologies of the 2000s. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, this room has stair access only. You take the elevator to the 3rd floor and then you walk up the stairs to the 4th.
Oh. You know what though? I would probably stay. I've never stayed old downtown, like overnight. I always go there as a day trip or a night thing.
I've actually never been to old Vegas. No, I'm going to go next time I go.
Floor 4, please.
I'm gonna go
to Binions.
Binion.
Hello. It's going to be great.
Get a tarot reading.
It's going to be great. See?
Man.
That's
Sounds
great.
fun.
I'm glad for that history lesson. I'm excited to tell people about that now.
How did we get on this conversation? I forget.
I don't even know. We were talking about clubs. And then
right. It was the nightclub thing.
It was the nightclub thing.
Yeah, we're talking about Loud Luxury and talking about Steve Aoki and staying up late like old people used
all those
to.
fun things. But speaking of concerts now, you're going to see Taylor Swift tonight.
Yes.
And you are making bracelets today? Question mark?
I am participating in the activity. Okay, it wasn't my idea.
Are you an active participant?
I am an active part. Well, I guess I'm actively participating in making bracelets. But the idea is that you make a bracelet and you share it with fellow fans. You find someone downtown, you say, hey, let's trade bracelets. And you do. And you just make friends doing that. It's all fans of Taylor and people coming together.
It's positive stuff. All good stuff. Have fun. I know you will. Tonight I'm going to be watching the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, what a role reversal for us.
It is so, right?
Like
you're going to see Taylor Swift and I'm watching the fight tonight?
You're watching Mike Tyson
And I'm having
fight.
people over to watch the fight.
I know. And I'm going to a packed stadium and taking the GO train down. I heard the GO train is a party though on the way to the show because
I'm sure it is.
They were letting people use the mic to sing like Taylor songs on the train and everything. I'm like, oh my God.
You know what though? That's kind of brilliant of Go to do that, because you're going to go like there's going to be people with a following that'll post videos about that, and it's going to be it's positive. Like there's nothing negative about it. And when most of your publicity might be negative, you know, anytime you're like a public transit. Right? Like usually you're just like, okay, sifting through complaint. But if someone's like sharing like, hey, I was on the go and we broke it into You Belong With Me, that's a fun, good story for them. Yeah. So I think that's cool.
I'm going to bring a Bluetooth speaker and blast Metallica the whole train ride.
You should. Bring the one from Binions.
Binions has a Bluetooth? That's right. Yeah. In the rooms. Damn.
I think tonight my husband is having his like guy friends over, but I know them. So he was like, but I don't know, man. He's like, don't just watch it with us. It's fine.
So I was watch it with them. What do you care?
Yeah, that's what I know. That's what he said. It is my house, so I guess I can. But I could be watching.
As long as they don't call you Toots.
No.
Let's get some more pizza rolls, Toots.
They would never. But so there's a bunch of shit going on. Then there's the Canada Post strike too, which I don't know if that's going to affect the average individual.
Not as much as businesses, I don't think.
Businesses are going to be impacted too.
Canada Post a lot more. The individual people, most people I know have switched mostly to online and getting e-bills and things like that. But there's still a very good function of mail delivery. It's just
there is. I think about the senior population.
Oh yeah.
I was at the bank like a week ago. I was at the bank, and it was one of those things where I didn't want to have to speak to anybody. You know, if I don't have to, I don't want. But I had to speak to somebody at the bank, a person. And it was all seniors in there, which is great. Like they need that. Like they need people in there to speak with them because they don't want to talk to someone over the phone even. Like even talking to someone over the phone is no.
My grandmother still manages a checkbook by hand. Yeah. But it's just the methodology.
Yeah.
I tell her all the time, I'm like, there's a lot easier way to do it. And she's like, no, this is the way I've always done it. And it's how she's happy to do it.
That's the thing. And they will, because there was a sweet lady. We were both waiting for the next teller. And I was like, you can go first. Like, go ahead. I could tell she was just trying to pay a bill.
You were like, you're going to die way sooner than me. Go ahead.
I didn't want her to stand for long, is the truth. Right. But she unfolded a paper. She's like, you're a doll. Thank you. I'm like, she's got, I'm just having confusion. And she was trying to learn how to do it on her account. She finally set herself up online.
Oh,
like there's literally still, we have to consider the fact that there's still people who are not comfortable doing all this stuff online. Wow. So she unfolds her bill, and sure enough, it was like a utility bill or something. I didn't look at it, but I was just like, I could tell she just wants to pay her bill, and that's what she does on whatever day of the week it was.
Whatever,
right? She goes with her bills, and I thought, I'm so glad that these tellers are still here, because some people would say like they shouldn't exist and the post office shouldn't exist. But keep in mind, there are people who, too bad for those companies, I guess. I don't feel bad for them. Like, okay, Bell Mobility, you're not going to get your money right away. But do tell Gertrude. You yell at 80-year-old Gertrude that you're mad that you don't have your money. And it's Canada Post's fault. I shouldn't say that. Sorry. The Canada Post workers are striking for a reason. But it is the reason. That's the reason why she doesn't have her bill. So calm down with that. But I did notice that was obviously one of the reasons why we have what we have still.
Well, I still have the same thing where I go visit. Every time I visit my grandmother, I have to fix her computer. And the one problem, it's the same problem that I seem to stumble on every time, is that she tries to make the fonts bigger and then somehow makes the icons as big as possible. Like somehow the resolution is as big as they can possibly get. So when she does that, then there's like 2 icons on the screen and you can't click on anything because they're too big.
Oh my God.
And so she's like, it happened again.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, you have to really go in to make this happen.
Them.
Stop doing it.
No, God bless them though. Like, and again, she probably doesn't even care. She just feels pressure to do it. You know what I mean? That's like this woman, like I said, she said she was trying to set up her account. And she's like, and then my computer broke. And I was like, oh, your computer broke? She goes, well, no, the website broke. And I'm thinking like, I don't think the website broke. But I get what you're saying. You could maneuver it. It's a hard concept for some people.
I do want to say, so my grandmother, I kind of feel weird calling her this, but she posts, she's progressive on Facebook and posts a lot of stuff on Facebook. But again, it's still very old school with like the checkbook and everything like that. So she posted this after the election last week. I thought, oh my God, my grandmother's a gangster. She posted, letting men decide about women's health care is like letting your dog make decisions about your car because he likes to ride in it sometimes.
Is it because she likes my gangster walk?
Yeah, that's my grandmother, the 87-year-old grandmother, who's
like
dropping lines like that.
I like that.
That's bars right there, Grandma. I love you.
I love that. I love your grandma for that reason. That's
isn't that such a funny thing? Like letting men decide about women's health care is like letting your dog make decisions about your car because he likes to ride in it sometimes.
Think about that. Last thing that we'll do here is another like strike situation kind of thing. The Fairmont workers, we touched on this on the podcast a little bit yesterday, Dave, just so you know.
Yep.
But those Fairmont workers, they're not causing any trouble, I think. I don't know. I haven't heard any complaints from people staying at the Fairmont, but I guess they wouldn't be people who live locally anyway. So why would we hear from them? But they are still... I shouldn't say they're striking, but there's workers that are outside of the Fairmont Royal York. So here's the question that we have is it okay or right of the hotels who aren't giving what workers believe is fair pay to them yet? They need they've been asking for a raise since 2021. Give them nothing, but still charge 2-3 times the amount, 4 times in some cases.
In some cases, it's 10 times or 5 times the amount.
We found hotels, guys, that were literally like 5 to 10 times the amount of money that they usually charge.
So for Saturday night, I just looked ahead to next weekend. So next Saturday night, for the last Taylor Swift show. The hotel I looked at was $1,000. The next night, when there's no Taylor Swift concert, it's $188.
Okay, see?
So
I mean,
that's quite the jack of the price.
I think it would be smart if the Fairmont at least said, okay, workers, please be happy. We're going to give you guys a bonus and we're going to discuss that. But can we get everybody back in here to work? Because there's a lot of people staying at the hotel right now, but promise them and go forward with that promise to at least give them a bonus until you work that contract out, but work it out.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I think. Like, I understand business is business, so the hotel can charge whatever they want to charge. But when you're looking at the employees working in it and making it function, they're the ones that make the whole thing function and going, no, we won't give you a raise. We haven't in like 3 years. And you've been asking for one for over 3 years.
Yeah.
But we'll charge these people 5 times. Like, that's where I have a problem with it. So I do hope that they get something.
Well, it's hard to defend it, because the perception right away is that, wow, that is so greedy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up for today. Any apologies? I think just to one person.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one and
Go
one
ahead.
only. Mike Tyson. We got to apologize to you, not for any reason in particular, but just because it's a good idea. And prediction? You want to put one out there? Who wins tonight?
I think Tyson wins, but it might be. I don't know. I'm so torn, and I've seen the documentary, and they both look good. Jake Paul gives me reason to be hopeful for him because I think he's confident. But Mike Tyson has the experience, so I'm going to go Tyson on this one.
Okay.
What about you? Be honest.
I would like him to win, but I think.
You got to say if it's going to be like in a round, like knockout by decision, because I think it's going to be Tyson, but not by knockout.
Okay, then I'm going to go the other way just to have an opposition.
Yeah.
I'll say Jake Paul wins by TKO.
Okay, we will all find out. Thanks for listening, friends. Chat with you next week.
An auto parts company in Sweden said this week that a moose wandered into its garage and trampled over 3 BMWs. The company says they deeply regret that the moose stopped at 3.
On Netflix, 58-year-old boxing legend Mike Tyson is coming out of retirement to fight 27-year-old YouTuber Jake Paul. The fight is on Netflix, so around the 5th round, I think we're going to find out that Mike Tyson is actually made of cake.